Welcome to this new video where we're going to talk about a whole bunch of news that has just been released about Forza Horizon. This is official news from the Developer Direct livestream, which I think happened in January. We had nearly 15 minutes focused on Forza Horizon 6, featuring the first gameplay footage, a trailer, and plenty of developer information. In this video, I'm going to try to summarize as much information as possible for you. Knowing that, in general, when there's a new Forza and the communication starts about it, there are new updates given almost constantly, every day. So, if you're interested in the game, make sure to subscribe. That way, as soon as there are new updates about the game that I share in a video, you'll be notified. And above all, it's entirely possible that as soon as tomorrow, we'll have another news video like this. Because it's possible that tonight, there will be more details, more information popping up about the game. So, I'm really going to try to give you as much information as possible. Also, if you notice things that we haven't mentioned or that haven't really been shared yet, feel free to put them in the comments. It'll be really helpful for others who come by, and maybe it'll even be useful for a future video. First of all, know that during this live, a lot of information that had been leaked in recent days was confirmed. Starting with the game's release date, it will indeed be May 19th of this year. On PC and Xbox, PlayStation 5 versions are confirmed to release later this year, but there's no official date yet. Because the main reason it's not coming out at the same time is that the optimization work isn't finished yet. That's why it's possible that in the coming months, if the developers manage to catch up properly, well, the game could still be released. On PlayStation V, multiple editions of the game will release alongside other versions, each with unique prices and benefits. There's the standard version for €70, which includes just the game. The deluxe version adds the car pass to the game. For Forza Horizon newcomers, the car pass, it's a downloadable content system where every month new cars are added to the game as paid content. Since you have the car pass, well, all these new cars are included. It usually adds 40-50 cars varying by Forza. The deluxe version costs €99. Finally, the premium version includes everything plus a welcome pack. It's a welcome pack in which you'll get special versions of cars already in the game, with custom bonuses and probably slightly higher performance. An Italian Passion Pack then, with Italian cars. Although the list isn't confirmed, it's likely tied to the Ferrari J50, which will also include bonus customizations for you. Additionally, with Premium, you get the Time Attack Car Pack downloadable content featuring Time Attack cars similar to the Lancer Time Attack from Forza Horizon. Essentially, cars with large wings, body kits, and high performance. You'll also get 2 expansions, though their details are still unknown. We don't know the theme or map yet. We just know there will be 2. Like past Forza games, there are usually 2 new maps and features in Forza Horizon. You'll also get the very important Person Pack, earning more credits and experience after each race, usually for the whole game. Plus, for me, this is the main benefit. Early access lets you play the game starting May 15, 4 days early. This largest version sells for €20. It's confirmed we'll have day 1 in the game, 550 cars, plus the DLCs we just talked about, so probably around 600 or 550. That's less than on Forza Horizon, because we should expect a whole bunch of cars, for now maybe 100, maybe 400 or 500, to come to the game, through free updates and also through paid DLCs. Now, let's talk about all the new features that have been announced. I hope I don't forget anything, even though, well, there were so many things said that I'm sure I'll miss some stuff already. Well, let's start with what's most noticeable. Visually, it's still very different from Forza Horizon. I agree with you. Many people say it has a bit of a Forza Horizon 4 vibe. For the game's artistic direction, I have that impression too. Actually, I feel like I'm seeing the artistic direction of Forza Horizon. It's a blend of Forza Motorsport's Fujimi Kaido and classic Forza Horizon approaches. For the color scheme, for the overall atmosphere, it's maybe a bit less saturated, a bit less colorful than Horizon V, a bit more natural, a bit more realistic. And I have to admit, personally, I think that's actually a good thing. So, it's true that, graphically, maybe for now we don't quite get the feeling of a real big graphical shock like we did back when Forza Horizon 5 came out. Even though, honestly and objectively, it's just a little bit. Even more detailed if you look at all the shots we have of the vegetation, or even up close, on the cars. Even though, overall, it still has the same graphical style, which makes sense. Because it's the same engine, it's still Forza tech. Overall, everything is more precise. Vegetation, leaves, trees, walls, surfaces, roads, paint, and textures all have more detail than in the Horizon Vive days. Cars now look more precise, higher resolution, and overall nicer. However, most gameplay clips we've seen so far move quickly. There are quite a few cuts and, above all, not many static shots. which means that with YouTube's compression algorithm, it's pretty hard to really see if it actually looks much better or not. There are still quite a few things that show the overall level of detail is higher than what we had on Horizon. Something simple, but for example, the sequence. You see cars driving through pink petals which blow away in the wind behind them. There are also close-ups of certain plants. I'm not really sure what it is, you can tell me in the comments, but it's the same. You can see the veins in the leaves, and then there's a whole beautiful sequence. Then, which is about the city from Forza Horizon, which will be Tokyo? You get the idea. And it's true that here it's the same. The art direction is more mature. It's cleaner, clearer, and the environments look great, even the road details. Since we're discussing the city, let's talk more about its environments. We don't have a lot of information for now. What we know is that this city, Tokyo, would be the biggest city we've ever had in a Forza Horizon game. In fact, the map as a whole would be the biggest map we've ever had. And it's true that there are panoramas. When you see what's displayed in the distance, it looks huge. Now, what's the total surface area of the map for now? Well, that's going to be hard to say. We're likely to get more information in the coming days because the community is always very, very strong. You know, to gather images of the same place and put them together to try and estimate the size of the map. Honestly, 50 to 200 square kilometers wouldn't be unreasonable. Maybe even more than that. And especially the city of Tokyo. They've confirmed that it will be at least 5 times bigger than the cities we've been used to seeing in Forza Horizon. It's going to be big, and the city feels lively. We've confirmed there will be a vibe similar to Surfer's Paradise, with, obviously, some big ultra-modern districts. And when you move away from the more residential areas with houses with more typical homes, looking at the city and roads, there's traffic and some activity, though it feels a bit simulated. There are still no pedestrians, but that might change later. But you can see, for example, in the city that there's the elevated subway. It's a small, silly detail, but when you have a plan, you can see it go by. It instantly changes the atmosphere and makes you feel like something is happening in the city, especially regarding life. For the other confirmed environments, we see small fishing villages, large lakes, and above all, that's really nice. Quite a lot of elevation changes. There are really entire areas. You really see hills upon hills upon hills, a whole bunch of roads that are still pretty winding. Honestly, for drifting, it's going to be perfect. We probably have large forests, quite a few farming areas as well. And for now, it doesn't seem like there are any really desert-like areas. In any case, no desert. No dumb sand, like we had in Horizon or Horizon 3. That's something that's really going to have a big impact on the environment. Snow is going to make a comeback. We saw a few scenes where, honestly, it looks amazing. I personally missed it. Snow in Forza Horizon, I'm really happy to see the return of snow. As confirmed by the developers, each season in the game will have greater differences, whether it's the color grading, vegetation, animals, life, or overall atmosphere. It's true when you compare snowy images to similar snow-free environments. There's a kind of atmosphere, you know, how can I put it, maybe a bit cozy, that you don't necessarily find in the other environments of the game. So, confirmed snow, that's pretty cool too. Probably with an impact on driving, and another thing that's confirmed and seems pretty big. They've really gone all out here. It's the highway. Division C, it's a highway that's very well known in Tokyo. Because that's where, back in the 80s and 90s, there were the Wangen, real clubs that actually existed. Illegal racing, where they would race at over 300 kilometers per hour, completely illegally on this famous highway. And it's been recreated in the game. So, I hope, with a good amount, what's certain is that we're going to have some pretty big highways. We can see several little gameplay moments where we see multiple levels of highways, let's say, overlapping, and others. Highways appear somewhat enclosed, similar to the most famous parts of this highway, making it feel very urban. Don't worry, you'll see paradise-like scenery, traditional houses, and plenty of temples everywhere. Expect beaches, large lakes, and small fishing villages. And then, overall, once again, the contrast seems to be pretty cool between the big highways and the really, really winding roads, which is actually pretty cool for driving. So, by the way, let's talk about driving right now, just to get it out of the way. There are some things that seem cool, and some things that seem a bit strange. We saw it in the gameplay footage. There's a new heads-up display that looks a bit more modern. Quite a few new features will be added to this heads-up display, for example, as they've already confirmed. A proximity radar that simply shows you when there's a player or another car next to you, and the direction it's in. That way, you know exactly where the cars are around you, to avoid collisions without having to turn the camera and lose focus on the road. There's still something that, for now, is a little bit worrying. Perhaps the only downside right now is the driving. Car reactions are now even more simplified and arcade-like than in Forza Horizon, which was already more arcade than Forza Horizon IV and earlier games. This is clear in the final sequence, with the Lancer going around the track and really seeming to turn flat. taking corners in a way that's kind of unusual. It's always been that way. The developer's gameplay footage never showed the final physics, and above all, it's entirely possible that this gameplay footage being shown here was recorded using the replay mode. Typically, when making trailers, they record a sequence and replay it using the in-game replay mode. This is often the case with Forza games. Whether it's motorsport or others, the replay actually removes some of the motion effects from the cars, which is what gives them that slightly strange look. Kind of arcade-like in the turns. We'll have to see if that's the case or if it's the developer's intention to really simplify the driving so the game is, let's say, even more accessible to the general public. Overall, in any case, if you've never played Forza Horizon, you should know that Forza Horizon has always been relatively arcade-like. And even though it's considered a benchmark in terms of driving for an arcade game, it's a game that has always intentionally had fairly simplified driving so that it's playable by as many people as possible. We'll have to see where they've set the bar for this fixed head coupe. Another little thing that was highlighted, and it's true, it also looks pretty cool, is the sound of the cars. And, by the way, the Aero car. At the same time, it's confirmed it's indeed the Toyota GR-GT. We were right. That's what we said here in the community, that it would definitely be that car chosen, and well, that was the case. Congrats! It is the Toyota GR-GT. We have a short gameplay sequence where we get to hear a bit of the car's sound in a tunnel, and we're told that, well, the engine sound has been improved even more compared to Horizon. The goal, as usual, is to make the sound as realistic and expressive as possible. They also gave us a short demo. We hear 5 cars driving, and it's true that, overall, if we compare the sounds to those in fixed head coupe, it's a bit cleaner. So, after the GR-GT, the problem is, since it's a very recent car and we don't get to see it every day, it's hard to really know how it sounds. But here, we have a nice little V8 sound. There's a nice bit of reverb in the tunnel. There are pop and bang effects, some backfire effects that are pretty cool. And then we have a short sequence where we hear, like for a second, other cars. And well, it's the same there too. If we compare to fixed head coupe, they're generally better. We'll see if this applies to all cars, or if they chose only the best sounds for the trailer. Also, in this sequence, they let us hear the sounds. There's a short sequence about the Civic, and this Civic was used as an example to show us the new customizations. And damn, it was about time. The devs confirmed new body kits and customization brands are coming. This has been highly requested for a long time. Finally, you can paint and add stickers to windows. Plus, there are new Forza kits for those less familiar with Forza licenses. It's the standard customization on most cars in the game. It unlocks aerodynamic settings, improving cornering. The problem is that in Forza Horizon, up until now, all the Forza kits are pretty much the same for every car. And they're all ugly, almost. We've been asking for new Forza kits for like 10 years, and they listened to us and confirmed that the Forza kits, well, maybe not all of them, but some of them, have been redesigned, and that we'll finally have new Forza kits for most of the cars in the game. And that's cool. So, that's not the only thing they seem to have listened to players about. They also talked about the progression system, though they went through that part pretty quickly. And I think that's because in the following days, they gave more information and details, but they explained to us that the progression in this Forza would be different from that of Forza Horizon 4, and that we might be going back to something quite similar. Horizon used a wristband system, and players were annoyed in Horizon 4 and V because you started out as the festival boss. We already had many high-performance cars, got wheel spins quickly, and money flowed in. Very quickly, it felt less like starting a career and more like joining a long-running game. Now, they've confirmed you'll begin the festival as a tourist, not a beginner, leaving plenty of room for now. To the imagination, but I guess we'll just start the game as a tourist visiting Japan. Maybe we'll hear about the Forza Horizon Festival for the first time, and then take part in it, and climb the ranks little by little, which in my opinion, is actually good news. Especially since, alongside that, the game's economy has been revised, meaning you earn a bit less money, a bit fewer wheel spins. So you'll spend a few hours with some intermediate cars before getting your hands on performance monsters. Several new features have been confirmed for Forza Horizon, and they're pretty cool. They've really gone all out. They've mostly discussed the racing and roleplay features rather than the car features. So, I hope that soon they'll give us a little overview, a little summary of the new features in terms of cars. As for the big new things, what has been announced? Horizon Rush is a new game mode that's essentially a gymkhana. We don't know much yet, but we do know we'll need to avoid obstacles, drift, and aim for the best times in an arena. Depending on our scores, drifts, and time, we'll get a better or worse ranking and complete it. The validation of challenges is also confirmed. It's a new way to get cars. I'm not sure if it's meant to replace barn finds. I hope Forza Horizon keeps them because they were cool. From time to time, there will be cars to find on the map. Maybe a bit like the hidden car system from the old Need for Speed games, Payback, where in certain places there will be customized cars to find. Kind of like the Forza editions. They just confirmed that these will be very rare cars, and they showed one. It's an MXV with an engine protruding from the hood in a highly customized style. Apparently, though unofficial, some cars are only available like this. That means finding hidden gems while exploring the map. I should mention, as I'm rewatching the trailer to confirm, we didn't really discuss this earlier regarding driving and races. Of course, you'll find all the traditional modes, and of course, there will also be off-road. It should actually be a bit more fun than in Horizon and Horizon 4, since technically Japan is extremely hilly. We might even get some steeper tracks to drive on. And that's something to be happy about, because off-road in Forza Horizon was honestly a bit boring. Let's not kid ourselves, it was flat all the time, really. You can see in some screenshots that the sand projection system, a minor upgrade, is present in the downloadable content. Forza Horizon's Rally Adventure was kept for the base game of Forza Horizon 5. Oh, and I almost forgot. They also announced the return of meetups. We'll see how it works in detail, but meetups were present in Forza Horizon. They were places on the map, parking lots that were set up for car meets, where people could meet up. So, either obviously by voice chat with players, or with randoms. And you could see their cars, their setups, their liveries, and you could directly download them if you copied their cars. That was just a little side note. Let's discuss the other features. Adding cars to the garage is great. There will be a new system in Forza Horizon that will let you go inside your house. Maybe not the whole house, but at least into your garages, to be able to customize them with the cars you want, and you'll even be able to customize the garage itself. I'm not sure exactly what they meant by that. Does it mean you'll be able to change the furniture, add little things, decorations? It's hard to say now, but we know we'll have several houses since the garage shapes confirm it. We'll be able to store our cars, display several at once, and walk around the garage while inviting others. This allows for gatherings, sometimes in multiplayer or by player invitation, to see his garage and his car collection, how he organized it and customized it. And that's great, because honestly, up until now, houses and garages in Forza Horizon were useless. Another big new roleplay feature. And this is pretty crazy too. We'll have a kind of playground for creativity, a dedicated place where we can build our own house. I guess we'll still see some prefabricated houses around, but we'll be able to assemble walls, put together decorations, kind of like the event lab in Forza Horizon, but for our own house, for our own environment. We'll have a large customizable plot of land, several hectares, I think. We'll also be able to invite friends to visit each other's houses in different environments. It's not confirmed if we can go inside on foot to visit, but at least we'll have access to the outside, which is cool. And by the way, speaking of the event lab, there's a nice little new feature here as well. The event lab in Forza Horizon was a mode that allowed you to create maps, either based on the main map or starting from a completely empty map. Now, this system is coming back. This time, they wanted to go further and make creative mode into co-op mode. That means, well, obviously, if you want to create your maps alone, you can, there's no problem. But if you want to create your maps with several people at the same time to go faster, or simply because it's more fun than doing it alone, you can do this in co-op multiplayer, inviting friends to build houses and roads together, which could lead to some wild creations. When you see what players did solo in Forza Horizon, co-op and fixed head coupe is going to be wild, right? It's also confirmed that there will be stories, and probably some that will be focused on the mode. Toge is also confirmed, and we'll have drag racing with functional equipment. And that's cool. On Horizon, that just wasn't true. I think we've covered everything shown. In any case, the main things in this first gameplay, this first trailer, there will probably be plenty of other things that will be noticed by players. For players. Sorry, in the coming days. So, of course, we'll be talking about Forza Horizon again very soon. But to sum up, it's looking pretty good. It seems to have a good look, a pretty mature art direction. Several major new features will seriously challenge the competition. We'll also offer more immersive roleplay than Test Drive Unlimited, which claims to focus on it. We'll offer 5 simple, more customizable cars and more roleplay modes. The garage decoration still looks great. The only thing that worries me a bit personally is the driving, which seems to be more arcade-like. But again, that still needs to be confirmed, so overall, it's looking pretty good. 6 little last claim news. There's already a confirmed partnership with Gundam. That comes out of nowhere. And I admit I don't know how they'll integrate it into the game. Maybe robot cars, I don't know. Share your ideas in the comments. There's also a trolley partnership with exclusive cars from the Candy brand. And there are already rumors, but that's just a rumor. Apparently, there might be a downloadable content or at least a partnership with Cars, the cartoon, which isn't, let's say, as bad as the Lego expansion in Forza Horizon. So, overall, it's looking pretty good. A lot of good things. We'll have to see now. What awaits us in terms of cars? What awaits us in terms of gameplay? Once again, if you noticed anything else, put it in the comments. And of course, don't hesitate to hit the like button to boost this video's ranking. We're discussing a game we'll likely make videos about for 4 years on the channel. So, don't hesitate. Follow me on Twitch too, because, well, as soon as there are new conferences from the Forza developers, and we'll most likely have some before the game is released, I'll share them, so feel free to follow me and we can chat live. You can also subscribe to my Twitch channel to support me.